Hello everyone, up next is a debate I had with a Messianic Christian.
For those who don't know, Messianic Christians are one of the branches of Christianity.
And what happened at the end is that this Messianic Christian kicked me out of the debate. We didn't...
No, we don't care. Just say goodbye already. Goodbye, Jacob. Bye-bye.
I think he was panicking, seeing how every argument he tried to make was falling apart one by one. You'll see it in the debate, but what I want to tell you is why I agreed to this debate.
I think it's usually a waste of time to keep arguing about these same topics.
But what I did was agree because he wrote a really inquisitive post, and you'll see the inquisitive language. I'll put it on the screen while I read it to you, and it says, "Look, I'd like to bring Jewish people to the channel to debate topics." He's not seeking arguments from just anyone, even a Noahide, but specifically from Jewish people. In other words, the inquisitorial hunt throughout history.
I invited Punto Breslov and Magister Levi, but neither accepted. Now I'm tagging Jewish philosophy myself. Let's see if he accepts.
I'd like a serious debate with him on my channel. If you know any Jews willing to debate with a moderator there, let me know. Dear community, he's focused on debating Jews, not ideas, just the same old Inquisition. The target is the Jews. If it is the will of the Creator, let's find Jews to debate. Please, audience, go and look for the records of the sermons and speeches that were given in churches during the time of the Inquisition.
To fuel Judeophobia?
It's copied step by step. Let's find Jews and debate, like the disputation of Barcelona with Nachmanides.
I mean, history hasn't changed.
And that's why I agreed to the debate, so he wouldn't be bragging, because we Jews are not going to let ourselves be trampled on like the same old medieval psychopathy.
I reluctantly agreed to join that debate as I believe it's a total waste of time.
Especially if that's the message he wants to deliver. And I just told him, let's do it without a moderator. Let's have a dialogue. Why?
Because what he wanted was to show slides, make a presentation, a timed monologue. Literally, he wrote that to me in the email.
Christian apologists like him have done this to me before. Christian Izquierdo and Carlos Blanco did it too.
They present a monologue with slides, often giving incorrect information.
But in the end, that's what they do. And it's a dynamic that's useless. They throw a bunch of threads at you that go nowhere. And yes, that's why I asked him to have this dialogue, so we focus on one idea instead of jumping between them. We argue and evaluate like the Jewish method, because remember, in Judaism, we have a millennia-old culture. When it comes to debate, we don't debate in order to impose ideas or make PowerPoint presentations to force our point. No, we have dialogues to seek and reach the truth. Not like those guys who want to look for Jews to debate against Jews about Jesus. In the end, he got really nervous during the debate, as you'll see. Whenever I asked about his sources, he couldn't support them.
At the end, I plan to say what I always do after every debate: be good people.
Ultimately, what matters most is good behavior, regardless of beliefs.
But the guy kicked me out because I think he was so nervous after seeing the result of the chaos he created with his own narrative.
That's why he had to kick me off. Now, enjoy the debate.
And honestly, it was a bit frustrating that this person didn't want to move forward. I think it's because he wasn't sure about his own sources and couldn't back them up. But anyway, enjoy it.
We have Yaakov here. And well, we're going to have a talk, a discussion, a debate. I certainly wanted to do it by sharing my screen with a timer, but Yaakov didn't want to. He told me he just wanted to do it more like a dialogue. So, well, I adjusted to what he told me so that he would come here to the channel. For my part, I can speak for myself, attack the arguments, not the people. And I think these debates are necessary so that in the end, people can draw their own conclusions and see both sides of the coin. Jacob told me he only has 40 minutes. So without further ado, I'd like us to touch on 2 or 3 topics and also whatever else comes up. Anyway, Yaakov, do you want to say something?
Well, for those who are here watching us, remember, there are more urgent matters than this centuries-old controversy.
Everyone should do their own homework. You've heard from the members here and there. Do your own homework.
Don't believe what I tell you. I don't know if you want to believe Ricardo, but at least don't buy my story. Check everything I say, okay?
That's exactly why I wanted to share my screen so you can see what we're going to say. It has...
In that case, if you want to make it public.
Well, I have the evidence.
So I want to tell the public that have a real adult conversation instead of watching or listening to monologues with PowerPoint slides.
Well, that's fine. Everyone has their own ways, right? The thing is, I like people to see that what I say, well, there is evidence, and as I say, everyone will draw their own conclusions. All right, let's get straight to the point. Yaakov, let's not fool ourselves, right? It's not like we're best friends, but I'm not going to attack you personally, just your arguments. In Judaism, they say, no, 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 no. I follow a Jew and I have Jewish ancestry. Yaakov?
Yes, everyone says that, including Pastor Eduardo Gutierrez. Everyone claims Jewish ancestry.
Okay, let's get to the point, right? Because we came to debate the Bible, not to talk about our feelings, Yaakov. In Judaism, they say that the Messiah has to be a son of David, from the lineage of David, and that's why Yeshua can't be the Messiah, because quite simply, he was not from the lineage of David. After doing a thorough analysis of the Hebrew Bible, so far I haven't found a prophecy that says the Messiah has to be a son of David. Which text do you use? The same question I asked Yohanan, and for an hour he couldn't give me the answer. Which text do you use from the Hebrew Bible to claim the Messiah must descend from David?
Wait, did I tell you that the Messiah has to be from the lineage of David? You're speaking for me.
That's what it says in Judaism. Okay, so he doesn't have to be from the lineage of David then.
Nothing. What I'm saying is that you're assuming something when I haven't even opened my mouth yet, and you're already taking it for granted.
Like what I think or don't think, right?
No, I'm asking you, do you think it has to be David's lineage or not?
I think there are many references that point to an environment that mention David a lot. And from there, we know that the kingdom we saw that was successful, we saw that it had this success, that it had these promises, and that David's throne would not fall. And that was reinterpreted as meaning it must be the Messianic era, but that's not true. From there, we break down that it actually must.
Those are interpretations.
Nevertheless,
Okay.
still us too. I believe I and the intellectual tradition I follow come from Judaism.
That really, you won't be able to get some DNA tests to see who comes from David and all that.
It's much more complex. During the 1st or 2nd century, in Jesus' time, it was very complicated to know each person's dynasty. So, in my opinion, what should be done is to look for other parameters such as, for example, the liberation of Judea, whatever existed in the 1st century.
Right now, the exile's return and peace and dialogue are priorities.
Building the temple, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I say that the topic of David is an important echo, but it's not that now. Well, let's see. Show me your identification card. Show me your genealogical background.
For me, the important thing is the consequences of what made Jesus not the Messiah figure.
Okay, I think you went around in circles a lot. I'll repeat, a messianic prophecy says the Messiah must descend from David. Does that exist in the Hebrew Bible, not just a rabbinic interpretation? Does any text explicitly state the Messiah must be a son of David?
No, it doesn't say that in those exact words, since the Bible doesn't use the word Messiah to refer to the Messiah. You started off on the wrong foot with your question. Anyway, there are verses that
No, I'm not off on the wrong foot.
references such as Isaiah 11:10 and Ezekiel 37:24 suggest a Davidic context. It might be a lineage of David, but I'm giving the audience the word Messiah, which now appears 5 times. And none of these refer to the royal Messiah, but rather to the priestly one. In the other books of the Tanakh, in general, it appears about 49 times, and it doesn't talk about the Messiah that we know.
Sometimes it refers to non-Jews as Messiah, such as Cyrus in Isaiah 45.
So no, you're not going to find such a thing, okay? I think it's a bit of a lack of knowledge.
Okay, well, thank you for accepting. So then Yeshua is not mistaken when he's saying to the Pharisees, how do you say that he is the son of David? They say, yes, David, the sovereign. The text, for example, in reference 9:11 says, on that day I will raise up, followed by the verb kun. This is also used in Isaiah for the resurrection. I will raise up the fallen tabernacle of David, which is confirmed in Acts 15. It doesn't say that there. Now you're talking to me about
Which one is the sukkah?
Acts 15 is, I'm telling you, it's here the verb come is used, which has to do with resurrection.
Which sukkah collapsed?
First, let me ask, did David have a sukkah?
It's
No, even if you laugh, at least you're honest, at least in admitting that there's no evidence in the Hebrew Bible that the Messiah has to be from the lineage of David. At least you were honest, unlike Johann Preslev, right?
Oh, I don't know.
At least you admit publicly there's no literal prophecy requiring the Messiah to be David's son, just that they're using it. But rather that they're using archetypes or symbols.
I want to explain something to the audience about Nahum and Zephaniah. Habakkuk, Malachi, Joel, Daniel, the only Redeemer is Hashem, God. Amos, Ezekiel, Obadiah, and Psalms.
There is no single Messiah. Instead, the righteous redeem through their piety, as seen in Haggai and Zechariah. The Messiah is linked to Zerubbabel due to his exceptional qualities in Isaiah, the later one, right? What they cite from Isaiah, and
The only one.
it can be interpreted as the Jewish people as a whole. In the apocryphal books, there isn't an individual Messiah either. In the Talmud, there are opinions like Hillel's that the Messiah is not going to come. Namir also said that the figure of Ricardo is oversimplifying this topic a lot.
Yes?
I think so, but I'm not sure if you mean you're making a satire of this.
So, are you saying only Hashem can redeem and cleanse the sins?
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's how it's described in many books.
Ricardo.
Well, because I like to quote the Bible. Isaiah 63:8-9 says, "The angel of his presence saved him. In his love and mercy he redeemed them." No. Genesis 48:16 says, "The angel who redeemed me from all evil." Zechariah 3 shows an angel who cleanses.
And what does that refer to? What is it referring to? What you just quoted from Genesis.
So, an angel can redeem, but the Son of God cannot. Only Hashem can. It doesn't make sense.
Ricardo, you're not with me. I'm saying that if you read the Tanakh and try to look for a figure of the Messiah, you find that salvation, redemption, it's ambiguous. As I said, some books don't even mention this Messianic figure explicitly. Here's what I'm saying. I think you're oversimplifying, and also your explanation about dominion in Genesis at the end. I'm not sure you understand the context. Can you explain it to me?
Don't beat around the bush, Yaakov. Number one.
You mentioned a quote. Let's discuss it. You also asked about...
Well, let's discuss first. Well, the truth is that you already admitted there are no prophecies that literally say the Messiah has to be a son of David. Because as you well know, 2 Samuel refers to the fact that...
It's just that if someone is a novice in the Bible, no. If you're getting it, the word Messiah refers to a messianic king. Well, in the Bible, you're hardly going to find it. You'll find it like I don't know, in Spanish, hints in English. But what do you mean by saying, "Oh, and the angel who redeems"? You're supporting my point. Ricardo, let me ask you something. Why should I believe in Jesus?
No, that's not the point. I don't care about your beliefs. What matters to me?
Why should I believe that Jesus...
Are you going to let me speak? That's why I wanted a timer.
I'm asking you the question, that's the topic, the title. Why should I?
No, I don't care whether you believe in the Messiah or in Yeshua or about your beliefs. I'm refuting your arguments.
So why do you invite me to ask about my beliefs?
I invited you to debate, and actually look, you.
But that,
Actually look, you from... I've had the screenshots for months. You were the first to say you wanted to debate with Magister Levy.
I never said I wanted to debate. I don't want to waste my time.
Really? What if I show the evidence from your messages? I have the screenshots. I'm not lying, Yaakov. And that's not him.
Well, look, pretend that I've told you many times. No, I think it's a waste of time, but I agree because of your boldness in seeking out Jews.
It's not boldness. Since I started my channel, you've commented, and Punto Breslev has called me an idolater. According to
Am I Punto Breslev? Are you speaking to me?
Well, I'm talking to you. I'm telling you that you came to my channel to comment.
To me? Hello?
Since you lack biblical evidence, you prefer to go here and there.
You're very agitated. You're very excited that someone accepted the debate. Calm down, and I'm asking you, why do you consider that then? Let's see. The debate is to try to defend your faith and all that. Why should someone think me? Because according to you, you don't care what I think, right? But you were looking for Jews just now. Why should a person think that Yeshua is the Messiah?
Because he fulfills what the Hebrew Bible says about the Messiah?
Give me examples of what he fulfills.
Okay, first, the Messiah had to die and rise. Want to see the evidence?
Yes.
Perfect. Excellent. Let's go. I'll show you. For example, in Jeremiah 23:5, which says, "And the days are coming, thus says Adonai, when I will raise up for David Because let's remember, according to the Semites, according to the ancient Semitic text, the prepositional phrase, which is a preposition plus a noun, only when it begins the text does it express possession. That is, in Jeremiah 23:5, it is saying that he will be raised for David, and the word where it says raise, the verb come appears the verb come. And look at what it tells us here, for example. Let me look so you can see that I'm not making this up.
Meanwhile, I asked the audience to open and read the chapter.
Listen to me. It says, days are coming, says Adonai, when I will raise up for David a Tzemach Tzadik. The word kum has to do with resurrection, because in fact it's the same word, the same one that appears in Hosea chapter 6 verse 2, and in Isaiah 26:19, which says, your dead will live, their corpses will rise. That's where the verb come shows up. I'm not the one saying it. For example, Dr. Jose Luis Escacena Carrasco of the University of Seville's Prehistory and Archaeology Department says so. For example, Dr. Angel Jose Zamora Lopez from the Department of Ancient Near Eastern Studies at the Spanish National Research Council says so. That's why even the Messiah, when raising the girl, says, Talita Kumi. Because kum is a verb related to resurrection, and Jeremiah 23:5 says the Messiah must be resurrected.
You say that the word kum is mentioned there.
I'm not saying it. The verb kum appears there.
The verb, okay. The verb appears in many other places in the Bible.
Yes, Yaakov, let's be honest. You speak Hebrew, but you're not a philologist, just as we speak Spanish. That doesn't make us Spanish linguists, nor will we be able to read Ricardo or translate.
Ricardo, but the other way around, you...
Let me speak. You're Yaakov. You're asking me for evidence, and I'm just getting started, and you interrupt me?
No, but let me respond to your supposed evidence.
Are you a philologist?
No, but my teacher and I consulted. I'm not. Listen to me, I'm not a philologist. But Dr. Angel Jose Zamora Lopez from the Department of Ancient Near Eastern Studies know who.
Who is he? I don't care.
If you don't care, then please.
I'm not interested. Do you speak Hebrew?
And what does that have to do with anything? Do you speak Greek?
I don't speak in Greek, but you tell me.
But sure, you study the New Testament, please.
That's why I'm not claiming anything about the New Testament right now.
You don't claim anything? You always make claims about the New Testament without speaking Greek.
Ricardo, calm down. You're getting too worked up.
You started talking about Hebrew and Hebrew philologists, and you asked me, do you know Hebrew, Yaakov, but you're not a philologist?
Okay, Ricardo, you're not a philologist, but do you know Hebrew?
That's why I quote philologists.
But now, how can you corroborate what a philologist says? I mean, do you just swallow it whole?
Please, Yaakov, please.
Do you think academia or philology are exact sciences? Is that really the case?
Do you think you know more than a philologist?
I think I can evaluate what a philologist says.
You think you know more than Hebraists and Semitists, Yaakov? Is your ego really that big?
I think I can evaluate what a philologist says in Hebrew. 100%?
Don't tell me.
In fact, tell me where it's written and we'll evaluate it with pleasure.
Will you let me finish? You asked for proof that the Messiah has to...
It's just that you're throwing a source at me as if it were an absolute authority. I mean, in academia, that doesn't exist.
The audience isn't stupid, Yaakov.
Philosophy isn't an exact science.
The audience isn't...
Different viewpoints from his don't matter.
The audience isn't stupid, Yaakov. Maybe.
Since the audience isn't stupid, they know not to believe everything they hear.
Philologists and historians often disagree among themselves. It's not an exact science.
Ricardo, do you think we should just say amen to everything he says? Just because he's a philologist, he has a doctorate, do we have to believe everything he says?
I can quote many philologists, not just one.
Yes, tell me specifically. We'll look it up, find the source, you and I will read it together and see if his argument is true. I don't care about the appeal to authority just because he's a philologist. I'm interested in the argument.
I have to say it. I have to be honest. You're a liar. You told me you wouldn't question my sources. I have it written here because I wanted to share my screen and I wanted to do it.
No, it's just that I'm not questioning your source itself. I'm questioning how the argument is made. I don't care about appeals to authority just because a philologist said it. We're talking about the...
Look, I'll be honest with you.
Your argument is like this. Since the word kum appears, it refers to the resurrection, right? That's your argument.
You also didn't let me finish my point. I plan to use more verses, not just that one. But you won't let me. You keep interrupting. You interrupt me, Yaakov. It's more than that.
Yes, that's it. What I'm trying to convey to the audience is that there are two ways to approach the Tanakh: being very sincere or buying into the story you're telling. A philologist replied, "Amen, no, that's not correct." For example, I can, based on what you're saying, understand that it's talking about David there. And not about, for David. So it means that David will be revived. Vayamot David.
No, it doesn't say that.
Yes, Vayamot David, from David for David. Semak Tzadik. It literally says that.
You're saying it yourself. I will raise up for David, the Tzemach Tzaddik. Thank you for confirming it.
Yes, that's what it says. But what you're concluding, which I'm going to say, that's why.
Where in the Hebrew Bible do you find the idea of resurrection of the dead? Or do you not believe in the resurrection of the dead?
Yes, David will be resurrected, except.
Where do you get that idea? Which Hebrew Bible text do you use to claim resurrection exists?
There are several, if you want, I can tell you. They're not all directly talking about, well, yes, some can be interpreted as very direct, actually, if I tell you. Well, okay. Ezekiel 37 talks about the idea of resurrection. The Daniel 12 at the beginning, Isaiah 26 talks about that. In the Mishnah, in our literature,
Isaiah 26:19 talks about that. Does it talk about resurrection?
Ezekiel 37, Jeremiah.
Listen, Isaiah, you just said publicly that Isaiah 26:19 refers to the resurrection, right?
We can understand that it could be in a literal or metaphorical sense. There's also an opinion in the Talmud that maybe it's metaphorical.
And guess what verb appears there? The verb kom appears, the same verb you mentioned. Listen, it's the same verb that
I'm not denying it. Ricardo, I asked you.
in the text you gave me in Isaiah,
I'm not denying you. I'm not denying you.
you just quoted a sentence using the verb kum.
How?
You just gave a quote from Isaiah where the same verb kum appears. That's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
No, you're not talking about resurrection. Make up your mind.
No, I'm telling you. In the Talmud, there's a discussion. If there is, maybe.
It doesn't matter what the Talmud says. What does the Hebrew Bible say?
The Talmud analyzes the Hebrew Bible just like your philologist analyzes the Hebrew Bible.
Yes, but the Talmud interprets the Hebrew Bible based on its religion, not strictly on the Hebrew text.
But did you want to debate a Jew or a Buddhist? Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
This is my opinion as a Jew. If a philologist like the one you just mentioned, you didn't want to replay and read what the philologist actually says, we can look up what he says and discuss it. If that's what a philologist believes, applause. The Talmud has other views too. Applause for the Talmud. So it's not absolute, Ricardo. Do you think so?
So are you comparing medieval Jews with philologists?
The Talmud predates the Middle Ages. Let's start there. But of course, yes, the Jews are the same tradition that created the text of the Mesorah. Philologists use Talmudic texts to understand words.
No, philologists rely on Phoenician, Akkadian, and ancient languages, Semitic languages.
Also,
That's what your rabbis say.
they knew about the Talmud. They knew Aramaic. They lived in the Persian Empire. They knew about all the Babylonian records that were there. They were in the empire, the Sassanid Empire. They spoke their languages.
Yes, we speak Spanish, but that doesn't make us Spanish philologists or linguists.
No, but if we had to learn a text in Ladino, for example, or in Spanish from 1500, wouldn't it be much easier?
I will go to a philologist.
Or you become a philologist.
Exactly.
Exactly. But the thing is, you assume I don't know Hebrew and I can't verify. I don't have this tool to verify.
So I have to blindly trust what I've heard from a philologist. And here I have a Jew in front of me who knows Hebrew.
And no, it's just that also.
What's the philologist's source and where can I find it? Do you want to say anything?
No, it's just that also I'm telling you that I'm giving you evidence from the Bible itself, but you keep interrupting and interrupting so it won't be seen.
I'll tell you. Where does the verb come appear and for what?
You just quoted Isaiah 26 to me. You just quoted it. And guess what? What is it that...
Samuel 17:48, in Hosea 10:14, in 2 Samuel 12:21, in Exodus 21:19, Genesis 27:31, Job 22:28, in Genesis 4:8, in Genesis 13:17, in Isaiah 32:9.
I could stay here all night listing where the verb kum appears.
I'm asking you, Yaakov, then why did you just quote Isaiah 26:19?
Ricardo?
attention. In the Talmud, there's a discussion about whether maybe it's talking about a resurrection. There's another opinion that says no, that it's not literal. It's a metaphor, not about resurrection, though some believe it is. What I told you before, there are places where it can be understood that it's talking about resurrection. Again, I don't know what is the level. Like, to quote people you don't want to quote again, so you can look them up, or so the audience doesn't look them up, or maybe to...
No, actually, you're the one who doesn't want them looked up. I'll share my screen and provide all the references later. I mean, you're the one who didn't want me to share my screen. Listen to me, Yakov. You're the one who didn't want me to share my screen, who didn't want a timer. You're the one who wants to keep it going like this, blah, 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 just to confuse people.
No, because I'm willing to open the books for everyone to see and check.
I'll provide all the evidence later so people can check it themselves, Yakov. I have no problem with that. Not at all. If you mention the resurrection or use Ezekiel 37, I'll ask, do they resurrect before gathering the two houses? That's the order shown there.
We're not evaluating that one. If you want, let's go to Jeremiah 23.
In the end, we're just jumping from place to place.
I'm going back to where you started, Jeremiah 23.
How do you want to start? Read or should I?
What does that have to do with it, Yakov?
The context is that, yes, it's what you do in Christianity to...
Don't say you all. I'm not a Christian, and I do read the context.
Ricardo, you're a Christian. If you believe in Jesus, you're a Christian. That's the definition.
That doesn't offend me. It doesn't offend me.
The Christian tradition, if you like. Well, here it says, there are the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my flock, says God. Therefore, this is what the God of Israel says to the shepherds who tend my people.
You have scattered my sheep and driven them away, and you have not cared for them.
God says, I will punish you for your evil deeds.
He will punish the nations that destroyed this people. I myself will gather the remnant of my sheep, those who remained from this exile, and from all the lands where I scattered them. And I will bring them back to their dwellings, and they will grow and multiply, the return from the exiles of Israel. I will appoint shepherds to care for them, so they will no longer fear, be dismayed, or diminished, says God. That is to say, we will live in peace. And that's where your verse comes in.
Wait, the remnant, right? The remnant is the one who will be at peace. The remnant?
Yes, those who were not destroyed by Rome or by Babylon or by the Inquisition they did to us. Those of us who remain are the remnant.
Please.
What? So you're saying I need to show you the Messiah must die and rise again? So you have to take a verse, cut it out carefully, and...
No, actually, I was going to quote several verses, but up until now, you keep interrupting me and interrupting me.
It's out of context and distorted, like the verb come and other examples I mentioned.
Why are you afraid for me to make my point in front of everyone?
Are you about to say another verse? It's clear you tried to manipulate them. Go ahead, next.
Why are you afraid for me to develop my argument?
Keep going. The audience already saw how you twisted the first one. Go on.
But are you going to let me develop it?
Go ahead. We saw what happened with the first, but I'm not sure about the second statistically.
Will you let me develop it? If not, this will turn into a chicken coop.
No, if you don't want to continue or explain, that's different.
No, I'm saying that if you're going to, otherwise you'll just interrupt me. But please, give me at least 2 minutes to develop a topic.
You could have started an hour ago, but you're still crying.
Well, I'm not crying, look.
Yes, you are, but then go on. Keep going, move forward.
Okay, again. The verb kum, found in Jeremiah 23:5, also appears in Isaiah 26:19 and Hosea 6:2. And not only that, it's very interesting because in other texts, for example, in Genesis 49:11, it says that the Messiah washes his clothes in wine and his robe in the blood of grapes. Zechariah 9:11 mentions by the blood.
Ricardo, before you keep going with the verse,
everyone is a witness to how he didn't even give me 30 seconds and he's interrupting me.
If you haven't finished your thought, you said, since come speaks.
Let me finish my thought. Yaakov.
But Ricardo, you can't spread countless lies and expect everyone to believe you.
No, Yaakov, honestly, I expected you to make it harder for me.
I didn't tell you much. Do you want more places where
I'll be honest with you.
More places? Second stage, 1831. Second Kings, 1617. No.
I didn't think you were.
It doesn't tell me anything.
Listen to me. I didn't think you were so nervous and anxious, huh?
Ricardo, you can't just throw out lies and expect a Jew to buy the story.
They're not lies. You haven't even let me speak yet.
No, it's just that you're jumping ahead. Well, it's the verb come. So this Zechariah?
I didn't say that. Listen to yourself. I told you I'd show evidence the Messiah had to die and rise, but you won't let me finish.
No, your first evidence is in Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5.
We noticed you took it out of context. The verb kum appears elsewhere, but I don't.
I didn't take it out of context, Yaakov.
No. So if the Messiah was supposed to die and all of this already happened and he already died and all that, where is he?
Why the exiles didn't they return and all that?
Who says they didn't return? Should I show evidence the remnant was there in the first century, or will you interrupt me too?
Well then, show me that the remnant of Israel returned and lived in peace, and no one threatened them, and that the peoples who destroyed them were themselves destroyed.
I'm going to give you the evidence. I hope you let me finish my argument.
No, that's not an argument with 80 premises in the first one. It's a false premise. Answer.
Yaakov, when you watch the live video later, you'll see that you're the only one who's nervous, anxious, and interrupting.
Ricardo, you're the only one afraid to answer me. If this were an adult conversation, you'd respond. If you were so sure of your position, you'd be giving your answers just like I am, as I told you in the coming days.
You're just giving me empty talk without any evidence.
The audience, when they see this again, will judge.
How do you explain that in the first century the remnant returned, lived in peace, and their enemies were destroyed?
I'm telling you, number one, Zechariah 9, Zechariah 9. From that, you might think there will be peace in the world since it says he will speak peace, but it doesn't say everyone will experience it.
No, I'm staying on topic. Jeremiah 23. I will set shepherds over them to feed them, and they shall fear no more.
Over whom? Over the remnant?
Over the righteous.
Over the remnant?
Yes, I must be here, the remnant. I don't know. What do you mean by remnant? Those who survived from Israel.
Yes, the Shia Israel. Listen to me then. Acts 9:31. The communities enjoyed peace across Judea, Galilee, and Samaria, growing stronger as they walked in reverence for the sovereign. Acts 10:36. This is the message of peace that God sent through Yeshua the Messiah. And
where does it say that?
Oh, Yaakov, I'm giving you the quotes.
But I didn't hear them. Where does it say that?
Number one, the Messiah would speak peace. It doesn't say that the whole world would be at peace. Number two, it talks about the whole context of the Bible. Listen to me, Yaakov. It's just amazing, huh? I thought Yohanan was the one interrupting, but you're taking first place for that.
You're making things up because it says so. I just read it to you. Show me.
Where does it say he'll bring world peace? In Jeremiah 23? Which part?
No, in Jeremiah 23, I can reread it and waste time, or let the audience read it themselves. Out of context. It says that the peoples who tried to destroy this remnant Israel, this flock, will be destroyed. First. Second, that he will return them, the remnant, and that they will live throughout that land from which he had cast them out, and they will multiply.
Well, I want to... let me speak, Yaakov.
But you're quoting me. Will you speak?
I'm discussing Jeremiah 23, while you're bringing up a historical period known for that generation's worst massacre.
Are you going to let me speak?
Let's see.
Okay, here it goes. I hope you let me speak. Okay, come on. Matthew 4:15 sends them to Zebulun and Naphtali. Luke 2:36, there was also a prophetess there, Anna, daughter of Phanuel from the tribe of Asher. James 1:1, to the 12 tribes in the dispersion. Acts 2, Israelites came from every nation, Parthians, Medes, Elamites, people from Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, Egypt, Libya, and more. 1 Chronicles 9:1-3 states that all Israel was registered by genealogies and recorded in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah.
Ricardo, what?
Listen to me, Yaakov. Whether you like my argument or not, let me finish, and after we've discussed it...
Let's review. You mentioned Libya, Egypt, and others.
Yaakov.
That's outside the land of Israel?
New Testament?
This is the land where they were cast out.
Yaakov, listen to me for...
No, but you're contradicting Jeremiah 23 and proving me right. It says they will return to the land they were cast out from and live there again, but you're saying they're scattered worldwide. In other words, Jeremiah 23 was not fulfilled.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, this feels like a chicken coop. You're really anxious?
Not being able to have an adult conversation is another issue.
I mean, an adult conversation? Do I have to tolerate your insults and also believe you without any evidence?
Adults, you make a statement and get evaluated. I say something and they judge me and so on.
No, but you don't even let me talk, blah, blah.
No, people aren't stupid, Ricardo.
We agree on that?
Exactly. So if Jeremiah says the remnant will return, but your definition has them scattered in Asia Minor, that's the opposite.
You just proved to me that it wasn't fulfilled.
Yaakov, you don't let me finish any point. Are you afraid, Yaakov?
No, but then explain to me that, let's say, gap between what you said that they were scattered everywhere.
If Jeremiah 23 is true, this remnant will live here, multiply, and have peace.
Explain that big difference to me.
Look me in the eyes. Why are you anxious?
Ricardo, instead of complaining and being so nervous, just answer what I just asked. It's not hard. If you ask me questions, I answer, I don't get it, because it can't go both ways.
You're used to dogmatism and accepting everything as is. We don't do that, which is why we understand these things.
Explain it to me.
I thought there was going to be some level in this debate, not that you were going to be like a caged hen.
Well, your level is your point of reference. Of course, it's not going to be there. So can you explain that gap? What you said about the remainder is scattered across those places. How is it possible to reconcile that with what we just read from Jeremiah?
Are you going to let me speak?
I just asked you something. If you're afraid...
You've asked me a lot of things. You just asked me several things. I'm just about to explain my point and you cut me off. Because you're the one who's nervous, you're the one who's anxious, and you're the one who's afraid.
It's just that the audience is watching. There are two ways to look at this. Dogmatic people who throw data at us that isn't coherent, or we can stop for a second with the first piece of data and analyze it. Rather than listing a bunch of unverified things, let's analyze them one by one. So those are our two perspectives.
You wanted to make a PowerPoint, show all slides, use a timer, and give a monologue.
Or like adults talk, and let's see the first round.
Oh, so the debaters,
the
people who do debate, watch out, watch out, watch out. Based on what you said, I dislike timed debates, but I just saw you in one and have seen you in others before. Why don't you like it with me?
I don't like it. 100% I don't like it. That's a no-no, and I don't know what that has to do with anything. What I'm saying is that you're asking me a very simple question. If you don't want to answer it, fine. The audience saw that Ricardo couldn't handle this question.
Keep telling your stories.
Go on, keep arguing. You couldn't even handle the start of your point.
I'm amazed. I thought you were going to make it much harder for me.
I made it so easy, yet you haven't answered any.
Well, I'm going to answer the first one. Let's see if you let me develop my point.
Go ahead.
And if you don't like what I say, then you can reply, but it's not about...
Ricardo, it's just very hard for me with so much complaining over something that we all just want to understand already. Just
with self-control. Self-control.
It's very frustrating.
Control yourself, control yourself, control your emotions.
Continue your point. Everyone in the audience saw he didn't answer. Go on.
Control your emotions, Yaakov.
And the audience is watching. You're so nervous that it's your turn to speak. I have to pause to respond to the character instead of responding to the argument. Continue your point.
Here I go again, developing my argument. Anyone can go to their Bibles and see why even in Hosea 6:2 and in Isaiah 26:19. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the word resurrection appears in your translations because, in fact, the ancient Semites also understood this word as resurrection too. Number 2, I'll quote some things you may find absurd or might interrupt me over. I hope you won't. Genesis 49:10-11 verse 11 is rarely quoted. It says, "He ties his donkey to the vine, his colt to the best branch, and washes his clothes in wine and his robe in grape blood." Zechariah 9:11. It says, "Because of the blood of the covenant I made with you." Isaiah 42:6. It says, "And I will make you a covenant for the people." Pay attention to the language of blood of covenant and that this Messiah washes his garments in blood in covenant. And then we see that the same verb kum appears in Jeremiah 23:5, which says, "I will raise up for David," or to David. And that's what we see the Apostle Peter says in the New Testament, that Yeshua is raised up for David, And that's why we see that as a good Semite, Yeshua says, Talita kumi, when he is raising the girl. Because it comes from the verb kum. There is this and much more evidence that the Messiah had to rise again. And I'll explain it later, don't worry, I'll explain everything in detail later, showing evidence on the screen, etc. There is a lot of evidence, Yaakov. So, you're telling me that there is no evidence of resurrection in the Bible? except for Ezekiel 37. But if Ezekiel 37 supposedly talks about a literal resurrection, first they are resurrected and then the tribes are gathered. Or how does it go? What's the matter? The matter...
Wait a second, here.
Well, we heard what you said, that the... I don't know why, just like you debating with Dante as if resurrection was something very dramatic for us.
Resurrection is like the least dramatic point. Resurrection is a concept that the Pharisees were very familiar with.
I mean, we're not the Sadducees who don't believe in resurrection. You're trying to, how do you say, challenge me? Like,
challenge. The idea that we have deeply incorporated thousands of times in our texts. Resurrection is the least of the details. Now, you threw a bunch of quotes at me about the covenant and the covenant and the covenant.
But I'm on purpose. The covenant is about the land of Israel. Did you know this?
in any case, in the...
I paused at the first quote before continuing to the 2 million quotes we can also review. Zacharias, what did you say? 12, 9. The point is, in the first quote I read, that it talks about the context that this remnant will return land to you. That's what it says there. And then it does introduce me to the idea that he will raise up for me, etc. It begins by mentioning a national event and the people of Israel returning. And Ricardo, to explain this to me, said, of course, this remnant, look, in Matthew, it says you can talk to someone from one. I don't know. Acts says they were in Egypt, Libya, Asia Minor, North Africa, and everywhere. But that's outside of Israel. So are you telling me things that actually contradict?
Oh, so he planned to bring the remnant from within Israel? So much for your logic?
No, the remnant is outside. There were Jews and Israelis in exile.
I mean, exactly what Acts 2 says.
He brought them to Israel, where they lived, had children, multiplied, and enjoyed peaceful lives without persecution.
Where it says, and they will have children and multiply and live in peace. Again, look, Yaakov.
And I myself will gather the remnant of my sheep from all the lands where I have scattered them, and I will bring them back, and they will grow and multiply, and I will set shepherds over them who are patient, and they will no longer be afraid.
Yaakov, is that how you study the Bible? I mean, that's terrible.
I'm reading exactly what the text says.
You use Zechariah 9 to discuss places that no longer exist, yet you criticize the apostles for quoting out of context due to historical fulfillment. Zechariah 9 even talks about Tyre, Sidon, places that don't even exist anymore. Yaakov.
Tyre and Sidon exist?
So when you want, you interpret it for your own time, and when you want, it had a historical context.
Check Google Maps and you'll see Tyre and Sidon are still inhabited cities in Lebanon.
Is Isaiah 11 Messianic, Yaakov?
Ricardo, wait, do you know Tyre and Sidon are still inhabited?
Ekron.
Ekron remains an inhabited city.
Ashdod? It's just that, well...
Also Ashdod as well.
So Assyria?
Assyria, the region of Assyria is inhabited.
Why do you think Micah 5 isn't Messianic? Its context was Assyria.
Micah 5, how is it not Messianic?
You told me that. So if it's Messianic, Micah 5.
You're twisting my words.
Micah 5, chapter 1 and 2, you said it talks about David and that it's Messianic.
Micah 5, verse 1 and 2, or Micah 5, chapter 1 and 2. Now then...
Okay, I got confused. Is Micah chapter 5, verses 1 and 2 Messianic or not?
It's a reference. We, in Judaism, have the Mefarshim who explain that this is a reference to the Messiah coming from David. And since David came from Bethlehem, then we understand that it's a reference to him being great. That's the reason.
I mean, it's a reference.
A reference to the Messiah.
Right?
Excuse me?
It's a reference to the Messiah, Micah 5.
We understand that it's a reference to the origin of the Messiah. And it's like a remez. Again, this word is like a hint, a clue that there's a connection between the Davidic lineage and the Messiah. Because just as David came from Bethlehem, then the Messiah should come from David. That's how we understand it. That's how I understand it.
Okay, that's your interpretation that he must descend from David based on Micah 5, 1 and 2.
Yes?
Yes.
Just like your claim that Kum is about reviving, but that's not in the text.
Interpretation.
It's just that the Bible needs a way of explanation.
We in Judaism consider and try to transmit these kinds of topics from generation to generation in a very, let's say, precise way.
So it's more than just an interpretation. It's like what is explained from generation to generation. So yes, even the Christian Bible quotes this verse in Micah to try to allude to the fact that Jesus's family and Jesus were born in Bethlehem. That is, the Christian narrative also starts from this point of the Davidic lineage, connected with Jesus precisely because of this factor.
The New Testament also treats Micah chapter 5 verses 1 and 2 as messianic.
Well then, is there not much of a problem with everything I just said?
And about the regions you mentioned, those cities as such don't exist. You could say geographically yes, but they don't exist. And about the facts, pay attention, the remnant was in Jerusalem. All those who were brought from Egypt, all the places I mentioned to you were in Jerusalem. The remnant was there.
And did they return to their dwellings there? And did they grow and multiply there?
Ah, didn't they?
Did they?
Ah.
Do you believe the first apostles were persecuted and martyred?
No, those who listened to the Messiah and fled when he told them, when you see all these things, flee from here.
Where? Where did they have to flee?
Oh, I don't know, Yaakov, please.
Tell me. I have no idea about the tradition, about you, the Christian tradition. Where?
If you're unsure, study the New Testament more. Before,
Or I ask you, since you just made the statement,
you ask me, give me evidence that Israelites from all the tribes gathered in the 1st century. And I was giving them to you. I'm giving them to you.
No. I asked you to tell me, you told me that in the 1st century, the remnant fulfilled everything that Jeremiah 23 said.
And I said to you, really? How?
And you started quoting people outside of Israel to me, and now you're telling me that they gathered in Jerusalem. All right, I'll keep reading.
Listen to me, I'm telling you, because I do believe what the New Testament says comes true, and pay attention to Acts 9:31. So, the churches had peace throughout all Judea, Galilee, and Samaria, and they were being built up, walking in the fear of the Lord.
Okay, so my next question is, do you consider the Christian tradition about the martyrs of Christianity to be false?
Listen, what do you have? I just gave you evidence. I mean, listen, why do you jump from here to there, from here to there, from here?
I'm asking you honestly. The audience sees you're unable to answer. If you provide the evidence I'm requesting in court, that's what I need. If you're afraid, that's a separate issue. You said they weren't persecuted because they were kicked out. Where did they go? Where did they end up? I honestly don't know.
No, well, I don't know. It's not like people knew where they were going. I mean, come on. It's not like there was a global positioning system. I mean, really? What kind of questions are you asking? Yaakov?
If you say they kicked them out, I don't know. For example, no.
No, my biblical statement is that I'm telling you that in the 1st century, there were indeed Israelites. The remnant is the one who felt that peace. The remnant is the one who was atoned for. The remnant, not all of Israel. It never says that all the Jews or that the whole planet or that all Christians.
There's a big difference. For you, the remnant refers to the Christian sect and new followers.
In terms of scripture, the remnant are constantly those, and that's how I understand it, right?
Anyone who reads the Bible, what do you understand? If it refers to Christian groups who believed in Jesus, or if it refers to the fact that there were exiles, the empires killed many Israelis, Jews, Israelites, those who stayed are the remnant. The survivors who go to Babylon and return are the remnant. So that's another way to understand it as well. So you're telling me that in your interpretation of the remnant, they were everywhere and came to Pentecost, but the apostles were cast out. Maybe you don't know, but maybe they were cast out of Israel, and that would automatically violate what Genesis 23 says because they were cast out of Israel.
Casting them out means peace is gone.
The tradition, at least the Catholic one, says that all of these were martyrs, that later they did everything to Paul. Anyway, that is, it's something opposite to what you say.
Look, I'm going to give you biblical evidence, not my emotions, not what I think. Listen, please, Yaakov, please, I'm asking you.
Give me a biblical evidence that supports us.
Listen, please. Those who lived, the remnant, the apostles, not understanding that is another matter. I'll repeat it for you. Acts 10:36. This is the message of peace that God sent through Yeshua. Acts 9:36, 9:31. The churches felt peace. Acts 15:32. Judas and Silas were also prophets. After encouraging and confirming the brothers, they returned peacefully to Jerusalem. Acts 15:33. But the brothers sent them with greetings to the apostles, and they returned with great joy and peace in the Holy Spirit. Romans 4:17. For the kingdom of God is not food or drink, but righteousness, peace, and joy. Colossians 3:15. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts. The remnant did feel that peace. I, Yaakov, even though I have tribulations.
The definition of remnant felt peace. However, we know historically, and this is recorded by Suetonius and Tacitus and many others, about the bloody persecutions.
To these Christians and themselves,
Yes, Christians who, even though they were suffering, had a peace that surpasses all understanding, for example.
Yes, look, it says they won't be intimidated or diminished. That's the opposite of what this verse says. So I think that the experience...
We should investigate, as you say. What does the context and Hebrew text say? But Yaakov, tell me, where does it say in the Bible that the Messiah will come?
Are we discussing the Hebrew context of what?
I'll tell you.
You want us to continue when it's convenient for you, but you cut me off when I try to explain something. Let's not get off topic. Number one, at least I appreciate that you admitted there isn't a prophecy that literally says the Messiah has to be a son of David. Perfect. I appreciate your honesty.
That's a rookie question. Sorry.
Well, it's a rookie question for you.
Yeah, it's okay to be a rookie.
So, Yohanan of Breslev is going to be talking like a rookie because he says he has to be the son of Ozneb Parona.
Are you with me, Ricardo? Wake up again. You're talking to me.
Well, you can say it later.
You Christians, you say you're talking about such a thing.
Deal with me. Yaakov.
Can't you see Pastor Carlos Meneses is saying this, Ricardo? No.
Yaakov, are you talking to me? It must be you Christians. Are you talking to me?
You in Christianity? Yes, you.
That's why I ask, are you Jewish? I asked if in Judaism the Messiah must be a son of David, and you answered. Did you ask me? It's the same? Don't say you in Christianity, I'm asking you.
Okay, fine. Then I'm going to you, Ricardo. We see how you take a quote like you come to the conclusion that come necessarily should mean resurrection.
I mentioned that in that world, there's a discussion on this word in the Isaiah verse we've already covered.
You ignored the chapter's context and justified it with a scenario that's actually the opposite. The historical evidence is that the Christians were persecuted and that wasn't fulfilled, and that they were outside of Israel. This remnant, no, they weren't there. And your definition of remnant, of course, is different from mine. So by my standard, it wasn't fulfilled either. I mean, I don't know. I think we could wrap up here.
Ricardo, if that's okay?
That's fine. We actually went 13 minutes over. Well, listen, Yaakov. Let it be clear, and I'm going to give the evidence. You challenged me to debate. After you watch the video, you'll see who was anxious.
Okay.
Show the evidence, but also show the post where you tagged me.
Yes, I'm going to show all the evidence.
And to the audience, can I say a message before I leave?
Say whatever you want.
Okay, thank you. Audience, honestly, I think this topic, although it is very important, I don't think it's that urgent. Based on my experience living in Israel, I don't know where Ricardo is or whether the situation...
If this is about politics, we don't care about your feelings. All right, say goodbye, Yaakov, bye, goodbye. Well, that's how things are, brothers.